Good morning and welcome to a new vision for Central Asia. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Before our program begins, we'd like to share some tips for optimizing your experience. First, we will be sharing the recording of today's program with you following the event. So if you want to watch it again, share it with a friend, or jot something down from the slides, you'll have the recording to do so. Next, we want you to be a part of the conversation. Please submit your questions throughout this event in the questions box on your screen. Be sure to tell us your name, affiliation, or where you're tuning in from. We'll get to as many of your questions as possible later on. Finally, your microphone is muted for this event. I now invite James Carafano to turn on his webcam and take it away. We hope you enjoy the program.
Thank you. Well, welcome everyone this morning. I'm thrilled to be hosting this event. Deeply grateful for the ambassadors' participation, and great to see my old friend John Barsa. Really couldn't be more excited about this. You know, we often talk about the importance of regions to the U.S., and clearly the U.S. has deep and important interests in Central Asia, whether it is dealing with the rising China or arrest of Russia, with issues of energy resiliency for the world, non-proliferation, dealing with Islamist threats. But the people of Asia deserve a future all their own, and they, as much as anyone, are entitled to a future of peace, prosperity, and security. And to be able to partner with them, I think is just a great initiative of the United States. And I couldn't be prouder of my friend, John Barsa, the acting administrator of USAID, and his leadership in this. Several months ago, at Heritage, the administration first announced its intent for a strategy for Central Asia. Now it's great to see real meat being put on those bones and to see John's leadership. So John, let me ask you to join me on the screen here and offer some thoughts about this vision for the future partnership between the United States and Central Asia. So over to you, my friend.
Jim, great seeing you and great to be here, you know, at Heritage for this event and for any event. It's always a pleasure interacting with my extended family at Heritage. It really is a privilege to be representing USAID at this event. I'm serving as acting administrator, and I'm very proud of all the work we're doing, you know, from religious freedom to free enterprise to democracy to national security. Heritage and USAID share many goals. Nowhere is that more true than in the countries of Central Asia. We're also fortunate to have the honorable ambassadors Farhad Salim of Tajikistan and Javlon Vahabov of Uzbekistan to join us for this event. Your presence here is a reminder of the strength and depth of the partnership between our countries. The United States was among the first nations to recognize the independence of Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. Since then, USAID has been a constant presence in Central Asia, helping the region grow in freedom, prosperity, security, and independence. That's why I'm excited to make a major announcement today. As a tangible demonstration of the US government's commitment to Central Asia, it is my privilege to announce that USAID will be opening 2 new missions there, one in Uzbekistan and one in Tajikistan. Missions are the hubs for USAID work, and they demonstrate that the United States is dedicated to building direct and meaningful relationships with the country's government and people. In Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, these missions will also help ensure that our work in the region is coordinated so that no country in Central Asia is left behind. USAID has made significant impacts in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan over our years of partnership. For example, last year, USAID and Uzbekistan's Ministry of Public Education signed a landmark, first of its kind agreement, committing up to $50 million from the United States over 5 years to support education sector reform. Under the new agreement, we will work together to improve reading and math outcomes, expand IT-based curriculum, and improve English language instruction. Uzbekistan's education reforms will give students the skills and resources they need to become leaders for their country's future. Also, thanks to advocacy from USAID, in June 2019, the Parliament of Tajikistan ratified the law on food fortification, which prohibits the import, production, and sale of non-fortified flour. Flour fortification prevents iron deficiencies that leads to delays in intellectual and physical development of children. It can also impair reproductive function in women and even lead to child and maternal mortality. Look, these are just two examples of the many ways in which the partnerships between USAID and Uzbekistan and Tajikistan have achieved real results. With the opening of our missions, our shared accomplishments will only multiply. Though it may be hard to believe, given how the world has changed since then, it was only 7 months ago that the Trump administration announced its Central Asia strategy right here at Heritage. The establishment of these new missions is the first of the steps in fulfilling the broader commitments laid out in the strategy. Together with our partner departments and agencies in the US government, USAID is redoubling our efforts to work towards a safer and more prosperous Central Asia. Now, you will often see the region referred to as a crossroads, thanks to its position on the Silk Road trading routes that connected East and West for over 1,500 years. But that term crossroads suggests that Central Asia is just a pass-through. It doesn't give the region its due as a center of culture and a place of deep history and great beauty, from the enchanting architecture of Registan Square to the soaring majesty of Pamir Mountains. Central Asia, bounded by China, Iran, and Russia, has also been and continues to be a critical partner of the United States. The threat from malign actors and ideologies is constant in the region. But we know that truly sovereign Central Asian countries will be able to stand up to these influences and chart their own independent courses. And in that effort, Central Asia will have no better partner than USAID. The last few years have seen great progress and growth in the region. New leaders have created openings for reform-minded development, cooperation between the countries in the region has strengthened, and the US has continued to increase our engagement there. This change has made Central Asia a fertile ground for new investment opportunities and has expanded the possibilities for what partnership between the United States and the region can achieve. To that end, USAID is working with a wide range of sectors. In energy, economic growth, trade, human trafficking, and the stewardship of natural resources, we have stood with the countries of the region to help advance our shared interests. For example, we know that there can be no prosperity if one half of the workforce is excluded from economic opportunities. That's why USAID is proud to be working in Central Asia through the Interagency Fund of the White House-led Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative, or WGDP. Through WGDP, we will bring together women's coalitions from the region to remove barriers to economic empowerment through women's national business agendas. In the Kyrgyz Republic, USAID is providing job training and startup capital to survivors of human trafficking, empowering them to rebuild their lives so they will never again need to emigrate from home to support their families. And in Turkmenistan, USAID is supporting communities to upgrade water management systems. Our efforts are enhancing early warning capacities for floods, preserving water resources for families and farmers who depend on water for their livelihoods. Now, as USAID looks to the future in Central Asia by building upon the relationships of the past, we are filled with hope. Our new missions in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan will give us the foothold we need to advance a new vision for Central Asia, one in which the countries of the region grow in prosperity and independence while strengthening their cooperation with one another. Throughout this journey, USAID will stand in friendship and true partnership with the leaders and people of Central Asia, as we've done for decades. With that, I'd like to thank the Heritage Foundation for hosting this event today, and I know we're all looking forward to hearing from Ambassador Salim Vakhabov. All right, I hope I got the names right. So thank you, Heritage. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, ambassadors, for your time here.
Thank you so much for those remarks, Acting Administrator Barsa. We really appreciate you taking the time to come here today to deliver the good news that the 2 new USAID missions will be established in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. So thank you so much. It really builds on what was announced at the Heritage Foundation back in February when the Trump administration launched its Central Asia strategy for the region, a very comprehensive strategy, the first strategy for the region in about 5 years. I'm Luke Coffey, and I'm the director of the Allison Center for Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. And it is my pleasure to moderate a discussion today about what you just heard and also about the region with 2 very distinguished and esteemed ambassadors here in Washington. First will be His Excellency Javlin Yakubov, the Uzbek ambassador to the United States and Canada. And then also joining us will be His Excellency Farouz Salim, who's the Tajik ambassador to the United States. But before we start, I will offer a few remarks based off what Acting Administrator Barsa said and about our views at the Heritage Foundation of the importance of Central Asia to the United States. For the United States, there are two main goals in Central Asia. The first one is having a stable and a growing Central Asia. We want a Central Asia that experiences economic freedom, that has opportunities for their young people who have economic growth and trade opportunities. And we need Central Asia that is stable politically. We secondly need a sovereign Central Asia. We need a Central Asia that is self-governing without the malign influence from outside actors. And for the United States and Central Asia, we should never frame our relationship with the countries in the region as being either with us or against us, or us versus them. In Central Asia, the ultimate goal in terms of foreign policy is balancing. And the countries of the region have neighbors. That's a fact of geography and it's a fact of history, and that's never going to change. But we should encourage all the countries in the region and the countries around Central Asia to balance relations and ensure that cordial and peaceful relations exist. Now, the five Central Asian republics are located in the heart of the Eurasian landmass. And by definition, anything that is the heart of something is very important. So that's why it's great to see this renewed emphasis from USAID on the region, this renewed focus by the Trump administration on the region after years of a lack of US engagement or focus. And I do hope that as things take place in Afghanistan and as the ongoing intra-Afghan talks continue, and God willing that there's a peaceful and appropriate and respectful solution to that crisis, that the US does not end its engagement in Central Asia. We have to look beyond just our role and mission in Afghanistan in terms of our engagement in Central Asia, because for so long our focus on Central Asia was seen through the lens of Afghanistan. And I think that both the Central Asian strategy in February and what Acting Administrator John Barsa just said about what USAID is doing actually lays a very strong foundation for an enduring relationship with the Central Asian countries. So I would like to ask Ambassador Salim and Ambassador Vakubov to turn on their cameras, please. And I would like to ask Ambassador Salim to offer some remarks.
Distinguished colleagues, allow me first of all to thank the magnificent team of the Heritage Foundation and the USAID Acting Administrator, Honorable John Barsa, for this opportunity to be here with you guys. And I also want to thank our colleagues and partners for the efforts and vision in strengthening the regional cooperation. Our thanks go to Dr. Eric Rudenschold, who is also from USAID, now doing a tremendous, exceptionally great job there, and also Mr. Javier Piedra. Tajikistan welcomes the initiative aimed to strengthen the regional economic and social development through the projects implemented and supported by our partners. Although the technical modalities of the mission, the new mission, must be concluded by our legal teams on the ground, the overall approach of these new opportunities are very much welcomed, and we thank Administrator Barsa for his magnificent work. For all these years, the USAID has been working closely with my government to implement the projects that positively affected the lives of people, especially in the rural areas, but not limited to that. We appreciate the support and the implementation of various projects on health sector, education, food security, water and sanitation in the country. As you might know, providing the food security is among the 4 strategic goals of our government that we are pursuing. And we thank our development partners to actively work with us in fulfilling all these goals, such as energy independence, food security, industrialization, and releasing the country from the communication deadlock. Last week, exactly last week, President of Tajikistan, His Excellency Emomali Rahmon, during his address to the UN General Assembly, noted the challenges that we all faced during the pandemic. President said, according to the preliminary estimates, due to the negative external economic factors, an overall loss to the Tajikistan economy this year would amount to more than $2 billion, and most likely this amount would increase in the future, unfortunately. Taking into consideration an ongoing process and the pandemic impact, the government, along with the prevention of the spread of this infectious disease, taking necessary measures aimed at ensuring consistent and sustainable operation of all socio-economic sectors of the country. And also, you might know how badly this pandemic affected all of us in the world. My Prime Minister is chairman of the special task force that was established to coordinate the work of the government agencies during this pandemic. And also our Ministry of Health, together with our the Ministry of Health and the Social Protection, together with all the doctors working around the clock to prevent this and to help us during these challenging times. To reduce the impact of the COVID-19 on the national economy, number of specific measures has been taken. For example, the National Action Plan to prevent and mitigate the impact of the potential risks of the coronavirus to the economy. And also the decree of the President on March 19 on prevention of the influence of COVID-19 on social and economic spheres of Republic of Tajikistan is issued, and this is aimed to supporting individual sectors of the economy, entrepreneurs and vulnerable groups. I know we will have a chance to talk about more details during the question and answer. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate that Tajikistan and the region of Central Asia has enormous resources and potential for the economic growth and the interconnectivity in the region. We have huge human resources, talented and educated youth who will be driving force for the prosperity of in the region for our countries. We also have the natural resources, enormous natural resources that through the responsible approach and investment, we can utilize them for the benefit of the region. And we appreciate the work of the Usaid in all these sectors and supporting with the magnificent team on the field, assisting us during these challenging times. And also at the end, I want to thank especially John Barsa, Honorable John Barsa, and his team for the support that our healthcare medics received during these challenging times. Thank you.
Ambassador Salim, thank you for your remarks. And now I would like to turn it over to Ambassador Vakubov of Uzbekistan.
Honorable Acting Administrator John Barsa, ladies and gentlemen, and very good morning to everyone who are joining today's event. And it is a distinct pleasure to speak at the Heritage Foundation together with my fellow ambassador. And I would like to thank Dr. James Carafano, whom I know well, and Luke Coffey, a good friend of mine, for having me join today's event and share the momentum of this historical shift of USAID's presence in Central Asia. We actually highly value USAID's continuous support of large-scale reforms implemented in Uzbekistan, an enormous contribution to the well-being of our people as an important cornerstone of the US Central Asia strategy. And this strategy was its fundamental objectives to support and strengthen the sovereignty and independence of the Central Asian states, encourage regional connectivity, promote US investment, and create opportunities for employment. Goes, in fact, in line with our own priorities and vision of comprehensive strategic partnership with the United States and its involvement in the region. And despite many challenges posed by COVID-19, USAID is continuing to implement these objectives diligently and steadfastly. And I would like to reiterate my profound gratitude to the United States government and USAID for providing Uzbekistan with so much needed supplies, and technical assistance to battle the pandemic. 200 ventilators to support more than 60 healthcare facilities across Uzbekistan, delivered on the eve of our Independence Day, were indeed life-saving gift for many people in my country. And we cannot thank enough USAID for essential relief supplies provided to thousands of families affected by the partial collapse of the Sardoba Reservoir Dam. And we thank you for the support in this difficult time and respond to the needs of our people in a very timely manner. So we are greatly pleased by USAID's decision to expand its presence in Uzbekistan. We are confident that it will enhance and reinforce its mission in many priority areas. And as was determined by the President of Uzbekistan at the United Nations General Assembly high-level meeting last week, one of our key priorities is to reduce poverty through development, entrepreneurship, job creation, improving the investment climate and business environment, building a modern infrastructure, and providing comprehensive human capacity building. In this regard, it's extremely important to reinforce USAID's so-called CTJ projects, new projects like the Future Growth Initiative and E4 also meet the needs of Uzbekistan to create employment opportunities for almost 2 million people, which accounts for more than 13% unemployment rate. We're also ready to continue our collaboration with USAID to facilitate trade investment between Uzbekistan and the United States, including through programs aimed at improving the business regulatory environment and the investment climate. We look forward to attending upcoming 10th Central Asia Trade Forum, CATF, to be conducted in Bishkek this November, and standing ready to host following forum and repeat the success of 2018 Tashkent Forum resulted in more than $56 million worth of signed contracts. We appreciate USAID's support of our education reform, as it was mentioned by the administrator, aimed at creating the system that can produce graduates with the critical thinking, problem solving, and practical skills that will enable them to succeed. And we hope that Uzbekistan Education for Excellence program initiated last year will bring expected outcomes for improved reading, mathematics, ICT, and English learning. Another priority area where USAID support would be extremely helpful is youth empowerment. As you all know, young people under the age of 30 make up 60% of the population, and creating an environment for development of their professional skills, especially in the area of digital economy, providing employment opportunities at home for more than 700,000 young people annually entering local labor market, and reducing the dependence from remittances is of crucial importance for Uzbekistan. USAID assistance has been instrumental to ensuring food security in the country, and we rely on its support for successful implementation of Uzbekistan agriculture development strategy for 2020-2030, aimed at creating a favorable agribusiness climate and value chain. And you know how this is important for the country where almost half of the population, around 16 million people, resided in rural areas, and with ag sector accounting for about 18% of GDP and 25% of export revenues, and over 1/3 of employment in the country. And we commend the outcomes of the agriculture value chain development program in Uzbekistan, and look forward to successful implementation of a new 5-year project, agribusiness development activity in Uzbekistan, that we hope will increase the quantity, quality, and diversity of agricultural goods and services in Uzbekistan by private enterprises. We will appreciate USAID's endorsement of President Mirziyoyev's initiative to host UN 2021 Food Systems Summit in Tashkent. So I can't stress enough the importance of USAID work to support legal reforms in Uzbekistan, including by successful introducing Usaid electronic court system, and we are standing ready to continue our partnership in ensuring independence of the judiciary and the rule of law, as well as fighting against corruption. We're also committed to the implementation of USAID regional project within the framework of the C5+1 format, based on the practical needs and development priorities of Central Asian countries, including engaging Afghanistan in the trade, economic, and transport connectivity in the region. We commend the implementation of a number of USAID regional energy projects, Power the Future, Central Asian electricity market, Power Central Asian, etc. Uzbekistan is interested in actively introducing the energy efficiency and renewable energy technologies in the framework of these projects. And an important component of cooperation with USAID is to improve the management and the efficient use of water resources, both in Uzbekistan and Central Asia as a whole. And we are determined to continue our mutually beneficial partnership in this direction, including within the framework of USAID environment and water projects. So we are striving to mitigate the consequences of desiccation of the Aral Sea, affecting the living conditions and the gene pool of more than 70 million people living in Central Asia. And we will also rely on support for making the Aral Sea region as a zone of environmental innovations and technologies. So to conclude, I would like to emphasize that we are going through the path of dynamic, irreversible reforms, and we hope that our American partners will be with us on this path, supporting our efforts to ensure economic growth, provide quality education, build the capacity, address serious health threats, promote good governance and rule of law, and increase regional connectivity. Again, thank you so much for hosting us today.
Ambassador, thank you for those remarks. I really think that Uzbekistan and Tajikistan represent a very positive vision for Central Asia. It seems like your two countries are looking forward, looking at the future, looking at better ways to cooperate and integrate and work more closely together, which is fantastic because if I can be so bold to say, perhaps 15 or 20 years ago, we wouldn't have even had both of you together from your two countries on the same panel at a think tank event. And in the last 5 years, both of your countries have done a great job at getting closer together, better understanding each other's regional concerns and aspirations. And I think the bilateral relationship, the Uzbek-Tajik bilateral relationship, is probably in a better place than perhaps it's ever been. With that being said, the first question is actually about the visit by the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan to Dushanbe. I believe it's happening as we speak right now. So I was wondering if either one of you could, or both of you could, tell us a little bit about what you hope for this visit to achieve, and how you have seen the great progress in your bilateral relations together over the past 5 years.
Yes, look, you are exactly right. Right now, we have the very honorable and respected delegation from Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. They have met, the Prime Minister met with His Excellency President Rahmon. We had also our Ministers of Foreign Affairs conducted the political consultations at the Foreign Ministry yesterday. In business forum also, our Ministry of Economies. What we are looking and what we are hoping, and we are very successful to continue the instructions of our leaders, the two presidents who are the champions of this, who recommended to the governments to follow up, and all these opportunities that will come with this interaction, with this economic link and connectivity with Uzbekistan. As you might know, we have many checkpoints now due to coronavirus. There are some restrictions, obviously, but opening the new checkpoints and allowing the people to trade between each other, and the trade going in a huge amount, huge volume, going back and forth. This is an opportunity for both countries, I believe. And we have, as you might know, our connections to the Central Asia that mainly goes through Uzbekistan at this stage. And all these opportunities for the public, for the people, for the benefit of the well-being of people is coming with this interaction with our Uzbek partners. And as you also know, the Uzbekistan has a very powerful industry that we are working, and the huge potential of the hydro energy that Tajikistan utilizes, we have enormous of that, and producing clean and cheap energy for the economies of the region, that could be also for the benefit of the region. And we are currently providing Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, and our Uzbekistan friends with a cheap, clean energy that produced in our hydropower plants in Tajikistan. This is something the connectivity brings up. This is something that the economic linkage between the countries will bring up huge opportunities, and we are very honored to host them in Tajikistan during these great days. Thank you.
Indeed, since the new administration came to power in Uzbekistan, so our bilateral relations with brother Tajikistan have reached new heights and dynamics as never before. And this is a true reflection of our good neighbors first policy. And we have well-established mutual trust, friendship, and mutual respect among our two nations. And just in a few words describing how close we are, I could tell that, as we say in Uzbekistan, Tajiks and Uzbeks are one people, speaking two languages, or even two tributaries of the same river. So that is our perception of brotherly Tajikistan. And you know, we have managed to overcome all of our contradictions, resolving outstanding border and water issues, so restore energy cooperation and transport infrastructure, and even liberalize the visa regime. So, and you know, a visit of my president to Dushanbe on March 2018, and a reciprocal visit of President Emomali Rahmon to Tashkent on August, actually have opened up opportunities for enhancing multifaceted partnership between the two countries. And as you have mentioned just yesterday, Prime Minister of Uzbekistan, Abdullah Aripov, visited Dushanbe to attend 7th meeting of the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation and Business Forum between leading companies of two countries. Just before the launch of today's meeting, I saw the news that the total amount of all the business contracts that we've been able to sign, actually within one day, amounts almost $50 million. And beside that, and we are very much grateful for the warm welcome of the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan by President Emomali Rahmon and his counterpart, Prime Minister of Tajikistan, Kohir Rasulzada. Just to describe the intensification of our partnership along with meeting of the Intergovernmental Commission, only within this month, Dushanbe hosted Uzbekistan-Tajikistan Scientific Conference, Interparliamentary Friendship Groups meeting, and an opening ceremony of public school in Sogd region of Tajikistan, recently built at the expenses of Uzbekistan. And we are committed to broader, further and foster political trade and economic cooperation, and of course strengthen people-to-people ties. So actually, in a few words, that is how we are currently perceive our bilateral relations with Tajikistan.
Thank you. That's great. And as I said, I really think it could be seen as a role model, not only for the region, but also for most of the world in terms of countries that have difficult bilateral relations with their neighbors. Now I want to shift the topic now back to development and USAID, and also add into that some of the other ways that the U.S. is involved in the region through the Development and Finance Corporation, DFC, for example, and the Blue Dot Network. How do you see USAID initiatives and other initiatives such as the Blue Dot Network help improve not only your country's economic situation, but help society and help to improve U.S. Relations with the countries in your region?
If I may take this question, you are very right, Mr. Look, that recently we had our Minister of Finance speaking with the CEO of the EFC. This is something that we are looking in the region. We think that EFC can do a lot, given the fact of its capabilities on the projects that are international projects in the region for the benefit of all of us. And it's a huge place to, unfortunately, for all these times, we've been missing this opportunity. And now we are very much eager to see this coming, and in the framework of the C5+1 and the support, the last meeting of our foreign ministers, online virtual meeting of our foreign ministers, where President Oler participated, and he's mentioned these initiatives also that fully supported by many of us in the region. This is something that we are looking forward very much, and on the Blue Dot Network, as you might know, it will give us an opportunity on the transparency of the project, on attracting the investment, the private investment from the Western countries and from abroad. This is something that we are looking for, and for the benefit of all of us. You know, these huge potential that, especially Tajikistan, for example, we have on the infrastructure, on the energy sector, on the mining sector, on the tourism, all these, but we believe that the support and with the investment, the transparency could be utilized for the benefit of people and the region, of course. Thank you very much.
If I may look, so with regard to DFC's engagement in the region and Blue Dot Network initiative. So as you know, just a couple of months ago, DFC's CEO Adam Boyle, along with Ambassador Khalilzad, paid an official visit to Uzbekistan. And it was very symbolic to see both of them joining C5+1 summit, again being based in Tashkent. And so with respect to the Blue Dot Network initiative, so I can reiterate that the Uzbekistan government highly welcomes this initiative. We consider it as initiatives that actually meet the needs and requirements of the entire Central Asia. So, and I'm very pleased to let you know that a few months ago, so all Central Asian finance ministers have been interacting with the DFC leadership on further intensifying our partnership with the corporation. And beside that, I wanted to said that intensifying partnership within Blue Dot Network initiative and the idea of establishing regional investment funds were among main outcomes of the visit. And we look forward to seeing very tangible results. So currently we are still discussing the details, and hopefully we'll be able to succeed.
Thank you. We're running short on time, so I will ask each of you if you have perhaps give you 1 minute if you want to offer some concluding or final remarks, and I will pose a little question to help spark your remarks, and that is looking ahead to the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think the biggest challenges will be for USAID in your region, and how do you see the relationship between USAID and Tajikistan and USAID and Uzbekistan really maximizing its full potential? So last remarks, about 1 minute each, please. Ambassador Salim.
Thank you very much. I don't think there are going to be any challenges or difficulties for the USAID for the next 5 or 10 years. neither in the region or anywhere, because this is the good cause. This is something that the projects that for the benefit of the ordinary people, especially in the rural areas, as I have mentioned, in Tajikistan, in different fields, health sector, education, water and sanitation, everywhere our aid friends and partners are supporting, working with the communities. I do not see any obstacles or difficulties for the USAID, and I want to take this opportunity to thank them for their hard work. And I want to thank the leadership of the USAID for taking these efforts and supporting all of us in the region. And we hope that we can benefit from all these cooperation between the USAID and the region itself.
So actually echoing my fellow ambassador, just wanted to stress on the new concept of the development strategy of Uzbekistan 2035. And here I would like just to stress that this concept is mostly focusing on furthering, of course, the democratic reforms and good governance on the principles of meritocracy, investing in and modernization of industries recognized as growth drivers. And I'm talking about agro-industrial complex, textile industry, fuel and energy complex, mining and automotive industry, and tourism, of course. Shifting to digital economy, development of capital markets and public-private partnerships, supporting entrepreneurship, especially SMEs. So another priority that we have underscored in this strategy is mostly related to the development of science and innovations, improving quality of education and healthcare system, including by broader privatization of the sectors, further development of insurance and social protection systems. So infrastructure development, introducing renewable power sources and increasing, I would say, energy efficiency comes another utmost priority for the current administration. And of course, in reaching these objectives, we will take into account global challenges of sustainable development, including, as I have mentioned in my remarks, RLC problem, climate change resource deficiency, pressure on infrastructure caused by urbanization, air and water pollution, and other challenges. So in order to succeed in all these areas of our reform agenda, so increasing human capacity building is becoming a paramount priority for the current administration. So in this regard, we will rely on USAID's broader involvement in investing to human capital through consultancy, training, and technical assistance. And for instance, deploying a permanent advisor to Ag Ministry of Uzbekistan could be a valuable contribution to implementing agricultural strategy in coming 10 years. And to increase the productivity of projects and effectiveness of joint collaboration, we would like to develop practical mechanisms of interaction for every dimension of development goals. And I believe developing jointly assistance programs based on the needs and priorities of Uzbekistan with tools for the assessment of the progress in achieving intermediate objectives and ultimate goals will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to take this time to conclude by thanking Acting Administrator John Barsa for taking time out of his busy schedule to speak here this morning and to give us the breaking news that the 2 new USAID missions will be opened up in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Ambassador Salim and Ambassador Vakobov, I want to sincerely thank you both for taking time to to spend time with us virtually here at the Heritage Foundation today. We really appreciated your comments and remarks. For those who are watching, if you're interested in learning more about the administration's strategy in Central Asia, you can find on heritage.org from February 5th the launch of the administration's Central Asia strategy, where you can find a lot of very good information. Again, that was on February 5th of this year, which with the global pandemic seems like a lifetime ago. But anyway, I want to thank all of our speakers today. I want to thank our team at Heritage who helped put this event together, and at USAID. And I wish everyone a very good day. Thank you.